Okay, 1 second. Okay, I believe we are live. Hello, hello, hello to everybody in our wonderful communities. My name is Teresa Sanderson, and I am your host here today for the Wednesday Spotlight. And the Wednesday Spotlight, for those of you who don't know it, the Wednesday Spotlight is the one time every week that I connect with a woman entrepreneur who is in business and also has a history of, or maybe is currently working her business while having depression at the same time. I think this is really, really important work for us to do because the face of depression often looks like that smiling face that's sitting right beside us. And we would never, ever know that that person had depression. So today, I've got a special guest today. This is Morgan Balavage. Am I saying that right?
Perfect.
Perfect. And Morgan is a businesswoman who works in the arena of yoga, Reiki, psychic development, and also business coaching. And so, Morgan, I want to welcome you today to the Wednesday Spotlight. And just let you know how happy we are to get together with you today.
Thank you so much for having me. And thank you so much for the series that you're doing. It is so important to, be really honest about our experiences with depression because it's way more common than we think. And it's such an isolating disease that it can often feel like we're the only one who's ever felt this awful.
True. That is so true. My goodness. So if you would, let's just take a few minutes. I would love it if you would just tell us a little bit about your business and a little bit about yourself.
So I am a business coach for healers, and that stemmed from my work as a yoga teacher, which I did on the side working in the corporate world for many, many years. Before work and after work, I would go teach yoga, and then I would go and work either in my logistics job. I did bookkeeping. I worked in high-level revenue management. I worked in banking. I worked in PR. And it was a lot. It's quite a CV. None of it really fed my soul the same way that teaching yoga did. So when I was laid off very happily, very blessedly 4 years ago, I decided to give teaching yoga a full-time gig. And I hired a business coach for myself. And what I realized is that I started making good money immediately. Like I'd made, I think, $1,000 within like the first meeting of working with my business coach, just by learning some basic, sales tactics in terms of building that kind of one-on-one service-based business. But the teachers in my community were not making very much money. In fact, many of them were hugely in debt and had this really weird relationship to money where they felt kind of guilty receiving it because they really wanted to give away their services for free. So I realized that they needed a business coach. And so I, especially with COVID, have transferred my business pretty much exclusively to being a business coach for healers. And I've built out my business to offering online courses, and I'm doing small group coaching starting next year. And then I also, of course, do the one-on-one work as well. I have a podcast where I interview people on a variety of different things. My current series is Interesting Ways to Make Money, where I give people some inspiration about yes, you can make money doing literally anything. And I teach people the skills of how to do that, how to market yourself doing whatever it is that you want to do.
I love that. And, I think gone are the days when a 4-year degree or something like that were just totally mandatory. The knowledge gap has been closed with information readily available on the internet. And, so many people are just self-educating and creating the life they love. And so I love that you have been able to do that. And I'm with you when you talk about corporate America and how that just really didn't feed your soul. For me, especially, I think working in healthcare as an RN, just very, very, very challenging, and realizing after 27 years of it that all I did was help people manage disease. I never really helped people focus on wellness. How can you be well instead of in this state of disease all the time? And so I really, healthcare probably doesn't want to hear me say that, but I do think we got some things backwards.
It's true. I'm actually getting my master's in traditional Chinese medicine, and we have a number of nurses in the program who just got completely burnt out from the Western medicine perspective of treat the symptom and focus on the bottom line of revenue, of money, instead of treat the entire system and focus on making the person feel better for the long term, for a lifetime, rather than just for, as you know, in the 5 minutes you're going to see them in an appointment.
Exactly, exactly. And I just think that is so much more important now more than ever, especially, here we are in the state of the pandemic. Very important for us to just make sure that our body is playing its A game as far as being able to fight things off, right? And so that's more my personal approach rather than, and I'm not going to debate the whole vaccine thing, but but I definitely would rather have my body do what it's designed to do. If I can support myself naturally, that's where I'm at. So yeah. So tell me a little bit about when depression entered your life and what that was like for you.
So depression first came into my life when I was 15 years old. I have PTSD from early childhood abuse, which I forgot about. I blocked it. It was, very common, as I've learned. But I had escaped an abusive household. I got in a scholarship to go to boarding school, but it was only for the first 2 years. So I had to go home. I came home to a broken home. My parents had gotten divorced while I'd been away. I came home to a house that I'd never lived in before. I had all new furniture. And I was very angry because I had created this beautiful family for myself at boarding school, and I had to come home to a broken family. And I fell into a deep depression. And unfortunately, the people in my family didn't believe in depression. They thought it was something that I should just be able to go jog around the block and feel better. And of course, endorphins do make you feel better. Exercise is an important part of any healthy lifestyle, but it's not the only thing. And especially when you're dealing with something like PTSD, you need a lot more help than that. So I ended up going through phases of self-injury that led to my best friend calling my mother and telling her, like, you have got to get her help. And I started with my first therapist when I was 16 years old. And I've been journeying through various therapeutic resources ever since then. So that was experience with it. It probably lasted until my mid-20s, if I'm being really honest with myself. There were peaks and valleys, but I didn't really feel like myself again until I started practicing yoga when I was 24 years old. And that's what really led me truly healing practice. Yeah.
Well, I hate that you had to suffer through depression, and it sounds like there were some things in your childhood that were really, really difficult. So I'm very sorry that you endured something like that. But I am so pleased to see what you have done with your life, because I'm always amazed that people can be so resilient given the right resources and the right guiding hand at a particular moment can make all the difference in the world, in our lives. So I'm just so excited for you. Now, can you tell me what are some of the things that you do, like in an ordinary day of work, to take care of yourself? What are some of your go-to self-care tips?
So I have to meditate every day. I have to do a seated meditation. I have to do some sort of exercise, whether it's a yoga practice, whether it's going for a hike, going for a bike ride. I have to eat really healthfully. I eat a primarily vegan diet. I avoid sugar. I avoid caffeine. I avoid alcohol. I don't restrict anything that, like, I'm never going to eat that again, except for meat. I am vegan. I will never eat animal products again. But I know what I need to eat every day to feel my best. And so I try to give myself that gift every day, although it is, a moving target, like all things. Journaling. I write my morning pages every morning to get all those depressive thoughts out on paper so I can actually look at them and be like, all right, none of this is true. That's the depression. That's a lie. That's the depression. And that allows me to realize, like, okay, so everything going on in my head right now is the depression, but how does my body actually feel? And so learning how to get out of my head and into my body through practices like meditation, like taking the time to actually look at those thoughts and decide,
Hmm.
have a conversation with them instead of believing them full hat and then acting upon them. Like, as a matter of fact, I am the worst person in the world and nobody likes me. And there's no reason that I should get out of bed today.
Hmm.
I give myself the opportunity to think those thoughts. So yes, and where I'll say like, yes, as a matter of fact, you are the worst person in the world. And what are you going to do to make yourself feel better about that? So if you feel a little bit better than the worst person, maybe you can go get on your yoga mat and do a few sun salutations. And usually within a few minutes of moving my body, I'm able to shake myself out of the worst of it so that I can at least get something done that day instead of spending day after day in bed, just absolutely loathing myself.
Right, right. And that's so such an important point that just a little bit of body movement can be so helpful to us to release, get those endorphins moving, get those feel-good chemicals that we naturally have going, and sometimes just that sense of routine. It sounds like you really thrive on a routine. There's certain things you do every single day, and I know for me personally, that is one of my biggest self-care things is just knowing there are certain things I do in the morning when I get up. That's what my morning looks like. So even on my worst day, it's just kind of like putting on an old pair of shoes, Feels pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good for you.
my non-negotiables, no matter where I am in the world, I can always give myself these gifts in the morning, and it makes all the difference.
I love that. Non-negotiables. You go, girl. Write those in. Now, is there anything positive that you would say has come from your experience with depression?
I mean, compassion, deep compassion for everyone else who has gone through this. I would find it difficult to believe that there's anyone who's had a human experience who hasn't experienced a phase of depression in their life, whether it's, a chemical imbalance, whether it's situational, whether it's the result of trauma that you've had in your life. I think it is a universal experience. And so having the experiences that I've had have allowed me to tap into the deep healing work that I can now offer others because I've been able to learn how to manage it in a way that empowers me instead of defeats me. And being able to share that with other people going through what I've been through has been one of the most powerful and healing experiences of, being a depressed person.
Wow. Well, that is so great. I think there truly is a gift typically for most people who've gone with through depression that there's a gift that we find somewhere along the way. And sounds like you have definitely found that in the gift of compassion. So, if there was any one thing, Morgan, that you would want the world to know about depression or mental illness in general, that kind of thing that you would just want to scream from the rooftops and make sure that everybody knew, what would that be?
Depression is a liar. Your true self, your divine self, is so gentle. It's so kind. It's so compassionate. It talks to you like you talk to a puppy. It's so kind. Any of those mean thoughts, anything that feels heavy in your body, it's the lies of depression. And you have to give yourself space from your thoughts in order to recognize those lies and to transcend them.
Girl, you said a mouthful there. Yeah, and the hardest thing is, right, on those really down days, is that we don't have the strength or the energy sometimes to just call depression out as a liar. And so that's so important to kind of, I don't know, even just be thinking about that or meditating on that, throughout our days and throughout our lives as it's an anchor to know that this stuff isn't true. It's not true. It's just because, of this chemical imbalance or it's because of the depression that's in me, whatever. Oh, I just love, love, love that message. All right, lady, last question for you. And this is your time to just, share with us about your business and any special offers that you would want our viewers to know about. I will be posting your link in the comments on YouTube as well as in my Facebook group so that people who want to connect with you can certainly do that after we're done. Okay.
Yay. So my brand is Splendid Yoga. Under that brand, I do teach yoga, not in person anymore. Obviously, I do teach online, but most of what I do and what really fulfills my soul is my business coaching. So next year, I'm starting my mastermind, my small group coaching project, the Splendid Money Mastermind. We're starting in February, and it's going to be 3 meetings a month, one kind of all hands meeting where we set an intention for the month, and then 2 meetings the first and third week of the month where I divide us up into pods of 3 so that we can focus on the individual issues that my clients are having, the blocks, the goals that you have, and so that I can help you create those passive and active income streams in order to give yourself financial security so that you can serve your highest purpose. I'm so excited about this. I've been working one-on-one with clients for 4 years, and I've had such a positive response to offering the small group masterminds that I just can't wait to get it started. We're going to be starting in February, but in the meantime, I'm going to be having a free workshop, a masterclass about how to use your Ayurvedic dosha in order to run your business. So if you know what Ayurveda is, it's the sister science to yoga. And in that lineage, we're all divided up into 3 doshas, which are like energies. So there's the Vata dosha, which you can think of as like the head in the clouds, the really waif-like personality type. There's the Kapha dosha, which is the really grounded people in your life. And then there's the Pitta dosha, which are like those type A personalities. And it can actually change in a lifetime which one is your dominant dosha. But I found it such a useful way for me to combine my yoga world and my business consulting world in order to help get the support that they actually need to proceed forward. Because those type A personalities do not resonate with those, head in the clouds personalities. Different advice. So I'm doing a free masterclass on that on January 11th, 111. So I will send you the link for that after we're done here. But if you're curious about the mastermind, the small group coaching, I'd love to have a one-on-one discovery call with you so that I can give you some information about what I'm all about, hear what your goals are, and we'll find out if we're aligned and if I can help you make those goals come true.
That just sounds amazing. Morgan, I'm just so pleased that we were able to get together today, and just want to wish you, abundant success in what you're doing. I know that what you're doing, the kind of work that it is with the yoga, meditation, as well as with the coaching, it's so needed right now. People need choices, and I think, with the right coach, people can learn which choices would be best for them and that kind of thing. So hats off to you. I will be posting and sharing your links with my group, and anybody who needs to get in touch with Morgan, you will know exactly how to do that. So thank you so much for being with us. And everybody out there in YouTube land and Facebook land, this is Teresa Sanderson. Next week, we're going to have another episode on Wednesday of the Wednesday Spotlight. And again, this is where we showcase one woman entrepreneur with a history of depression. And I hope you will join us again for our next episode. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right.